Everybody went through that same period. And here we are at this particular time. Allah has blessed us with many martyrs, many people who have struggled in the cause of Allah, who have contributed to the historical process. You know why the government set Imam Jamil Alameen up and sent him to prison? Because the government knew we're getting ready to move on the Muslims here in America and the rest of the world. They already got it laid out. Now, we said this the first day, so you don't say, oh, this guy's making it up as he goes. No. Imam Jamil Alameen not only is the last one left alive on the COINTEL program's list of 1968, right? He's the only one still with us. But Imam Jamil Alameen went through the historical process. Remember SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, right? Head of it. This ain't gonna work. Next, BLA, Black Nationalism, Black Liberation, final stage, Black Liberation Army, BLA, underground, shoot the police, and we'll do it that way. All right? Goes into exile, comes back to America, gets arrested. First thing he do is accepts Islam, right? Come out of prison, establish Islamic community in Atlanta. Now, but he understands the historical process. He understands the time he's living in. And he's not, in those days, we was kind of isolated from mainstream community because we talked the same thing now then. So you know they didn't want to hear it. They made a bad, the people, the big movements, they made a bad call. We're not going to ride them today, but they made a historically bad analysis. They analyzed that America was a democracy, was a land of freedom, and on and on and on, and that's what they wanted it to be, so they didn't analyze, they thought we was crazy. But Imam Jamil knew, so they said, we're going to move on to Muslims. This guy Jamil is in with all these people. He was vice president of AMC. He's one of the main people in ISNA, so he's tied in with everybody, rooted in the black community, understands the whole process of government, the CIA, the FBI, and all of that. Now, we're getting ready to move on these people. We don't want nobody around that can get in the way of what we're getting ready to do, right? So the others, Big Mouth Musa, we don't have to worry. They won't listen to him. He's telling the truth, but they don't want to hear him. You know? He had to stand outside in the cold and holler at them. And they come by, right, but I got to go. Right? Don't worry about them. So they leave us alone. But Imam Jamil, who's right in the mix with everybody and understands the same process, we got to get him off the scene. You see what I mean? I'm telling you, this enemy we're dealing with is a vile, corrupt enemy. Now we have to know how the game is played. We have to know the score on the board. Right? We have to know how much time is left. Only Allah knows, but we got to do some type of figuring, isn't that right? We got to say, man, time is getting short. Even you and I, with all this gray beard, we got to look and say, man, if I'm lucky, I got another 20 or 30 years left at most. And another 15 or 20 of walking around. After that, even if I'm alive, I'll be sitting in a wheelchair. So that's what the board say to you, me, and most of us, isn't that right? So we better get busy before the game is up. Right? How far are we now, you and I, from the Islamic government of North America? What's the distance? What do we have to do to close the gap? How much do you and I have to improve in order to close that gap? And what do we owe to our grandparents and parents and even our mothers and fathers that was whipped, beat up over the head, treated like dogs, right? What kind of human beings that we would be if Allah allowed us to come back from something that they had forgot about? They sung about it. Give me that old time religion. They wasn't talking about Jesus Christ, although he's a part of it. Only thing they knew is, I want want the old time religion. What old time religion did they come from? You think about it. They talking about Islam. The only thing that they remembered is that old time religion was better than what we have now. And I don't want what they done handed me now. I want that old time deen, right? That we was when we came here. They didn't even know the name of it. So all they could call it is old time religion. Now you and I got it. What are we going to do? We're going to sit down, watch TV, twiddle our fingers, right? Or are we going to close the gap? We're going to move on those, brothers and sisters. We got to move on old Sam, you and I. I'm not talking about go down and beat him upside the head, take over the white. I'm not talking about that. Invite the people to Islam. That's where the foreign community missed the boat. They want to integrate into the system, be a part of the system. We said, no, go after the people. Everybody, black people, white people now want some Islam. You know why? They done voted, they done marched, they done did everything. You know how brokenhearted they was after all those marches? And they had millions of people in the street, and Bush went to war anyway. Do you remember those of us who were active? They were brokenhearted. They said, we done did everything according to the program of America. And they went to the war anyway. We had 500,000 people downtown, 1 million people in New York, 400,000 in San Francisco, 400,000 in LA, all on the same day, saying no war. He went anyway. They was brokenhearted. Everybody in America voted against George Bush. So the machines, they shouldn't have bought the machines from a Republican company. Good God Almighty. What did they expect? They expect to buy a machine, right, from Coca-Cola and a Pepsi come out. This is ridiculous. It don't make no difference what button you put it on, say Coca-Cola, because that's who you bought the thing from. So if you buy the voting machines from Republican companies, it can't say that you push it, Gore, whatever his name was, Kerry, just what a machine. They go back, they say, I pushed this and Bush came up, I pushed Kerry. They said, we don't know about that. Our hands is tied. Ain't nothing we can. Now they're disappointed. They're disappointed. They're brokenhearted. They done demonstrated, and they done voted 10-1 against Bush, and he still won, right? So now they saying, hey, the Negro was right downtown when he said we need a rebellion, a revolution, because no matter what we do, it still come up Bush, right? Okay, now we offer Islam to the people. We said, this is the problem. You just need to put Allah first. Don't worry about the politics. Politics is part of Islam. Don't worry about this and that. You just accept this way of life called Islam, and it'll solve your problems. You might have a little racism. Don't you worry. It solved our racism. We used to didn't like you because you was white. Pretty soon you just keep polishing up your heart, praying. There's praying, right? After a while, you're going to like everybody. Because that's what Allah say, that all these are your family. Don't you worry about a thing. Chinamans, you're going to like them. Arabs, you're going to like them. Why? Because they're all Muslim. So if it worked for us, and we was in worse shape than anybody, right? And we go march for Pakistan, Palestine, everybody, right? Because of Islam. Ain't none of us ever been to Pakistan, have you? I have, of course, but I mean, I just got lucky. You know, stowed away on the plane, you know. But I'm telling you, why we go out there? Why are we against oppression in Bosnia, Kosovo? Those are white people, because we came to Islam. See what I mean? If it can heal us,